cousin?
What up, man?
Not much. I was we're at the tail end of the Long Beach Marathon Expo. I want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
How you felt it went.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. 2 days of the expo, you guys just finished your run, so
Yeah.
I felt like it was a cool little success.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect, honestly, but yeah, bro, it's like our first, basically launched the brand Friday, which was the first day of the expo, and literally just the first time, like, just getting out to the public and seeing what it was like. I didn't realize how big the event was. So I thought we were like really fortunate to launch the brand to the public in an event where there were so many people, which is wild. I think somebody had came up to us and said there's going to be like 22,000 people running the event.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't expect it, but it was cool.
Yeah.
It was super cool. Yeah, cool vibes. I felt like all the other vendors around us were super cool and helpful.
Yeah.
And I just didn't realize, like, literally every single other vendor around us was like 20 years in the business.
Yeah.
And we're like the new kids on the block, so that was just, yeah, so it was wild, but.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool kind of seeing everybody just kind of ask what TPF was.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you see all the other brands like Orange Theory and the ones next to us, the Kombucha, the GT. Those are big name brands, and seeing us kind of in that space was it was a big move, I think, personally. Yeah, I think it was a good foot in the door for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Yeah. How do you feel about the launch of the company? How do you feel like you did overall in terms of launching?
Yeah, I thought it was, so we pre-launched prior. The pre-launch was really just to kind of test out the systems, especially with the shipping and the fulfillment, just to make sure that it ran smoothly and it worked, which it did. So we launched like maybe 3 months ago. So this launch was like literally just a little bit more official. So, I mean, numbers-wise, it was a big investment to get into the expo. And in my head, I already kind of knew that we weren't going to really make that money back.
Right.
But I was happy with the fact that wasn't the goal. The goal wasn't to make money at the expo.
Yeah.
It was really just experience, number one, get the name out there and see what these events are like.
Yeah.
And also see what people like really thought of the brand, the branding, the actual SKUs, the products that we have. And in those terms, it was 100% a success in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, we're selling it to that specific demographic. So seeing how they responded to the branding and what we offered, I felt like it was super positive.
Yeah, that's good. I think for it being the first expo for sure was, I think there are things that could have gone better, but overall I think what we did was perfect for a beginner company, you know?
Right.
And I mean, speaking on that, let's kind of backtrack on what TPF was before, you know, the year 2024 when this became a concrete business that was going to be public.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's start with you, like your background, where you started in your career, what brought you to TPF and where it is currently.
Yeah. So like, I mean, my formal education is in kinesiology.
Right.
So like when I was going to school for college, I always had the kind of goal to become a physical therapist. That's what I graduated with. And while going to grad school at San Francisco State, I was working at a big box gym as a personal trainer just to make money while I was kind of finishing up my path towards becoming a physical therapist. And then during that path, I just found I fell upon some opportunities to like train people in their house.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll do it. You know, I just dove deep into it, and then I was like making money from it. So I was like, oh shit, I think I need to take this a little seriously. And then at that point, there was a big thing that had happened to me. I got this opportunity to work for a company called Project Walk.
Yes.
Which is was basically like PT, but it was very specific. It was a specific thing. It was actually for like disabled, like people in wheelchairs, you know, big traumatic injuries. So that opportunity made me just say, like, I'm not doing physical therapy anymore. I'm not going to go to school for that anymore. So I jumped into that. And then from there, those clients that I was working with, that company asked me if I could actually first of all, that company wasn't doing well.
Mm.
So when I told those clients that we weren't going to actually be in business anymore, a lot of them asked me if I could train them privately.
Right.
Which was essentially what I was doing already,
right?
And on the side. So then at that point, that's where teamphysiofit really became a thing, right? It was specific to actually just like in-home private training.
Right. And this was prior to the whole supplement.
Yes.
It was a personal training business.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. And I think it's super important for people to understand that there were like roadblocks that you had gone through. I mean, I've seen it. Like, I've seen what you've gone through to build up to where you're at.
Right.
Doing those commutes to Walnut Creek, I believe, right?
Yeah.
To do Project Walk. That little short stint in Vegas when you were trying to help build that gym. And all while still doing the personal training. You know, people don't know that part. And I think that's important as the owner of Team PhysioFit or TPF supplements now. To see that, you know, this never just started just this year. There was different things that happened throughout your life that brought you to where TPF supplements is at now. That I think is people can connect with, because people just think that building a business is, we're just going to start here. We're going to find that product, that niche, and start with that. But I think what you've gone through has gone into what TPF is now.
100%.
And that mindset, which this podcast, the Mindset Club, has kind of built your life around. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's a great point. It's crazy because I don't ever think about it anymore because I'm 35 now. I started doing training when I was like 20. I graduated when I was 24, and I literally started the business around like 26 when I got really serious about it. But no, that's a fantastic point. Like, it was a fucking grind, bro.
Yeah.
It was a fucking grind.
Right.
I was working basically 6-7 days a week. I was making a commute. It was an hour drive to work for Project Walk.
Right.
And then from there, I would go to fucking grad school 2 days a week to finish off my physical therapy. Right. And then on the weekends, I would work my private trainers, my private training clients. Yeah. So it was literally just like monk mode.
Yeah, and I got to see that, you know, secondhand. And it's crazy because while you were going through that, you don't really think about those things, you know? As the person in, you know, first person mode, you're like, these are things I have to do, you know? Right. But now looking back at it, at least from a different person's point of view, it's cool to see where TPF is now based on all the things I've seen you've gone through up until now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Think about it now as the reminder. It's actually like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot because, when you're in it, you don't think about it. Yeah. And then where it's at now, it's like, I kind of appreciate it more now.
Yeah. It's crazy because you never want, for your personality and how long I've known you, all my life, you've never been the one to like, I want the credit, I want all this, you've always just you've done your thing, and your work and your success kind of shows who you are as a person. And I think that's what people are going to gravitate with TPF is like, he's a genuine human being. Everyone will see that once they speak to him. And I think that is huge, Yeah. A lot of companies don't see the CEO, they're kind of just, in the back, but you're at the front line. kind of doing, you're at the expo, you're talking to the people. Like those things are super important. And I get to see that and kind of witness it. And, yeah, I think you deserve all the credit and all the success going into it, man. So I'm just glad I'm here. You know,
I appreciate that.
Kind of just working, doing what I can to help build TPF because I believe in it 100%, man. Even from the years when you were kind of just selling the supplements to your clients, yeah, which is, I mean, at the expo, that's what I used to tell, or we're telling people is this was just kind of something that we'd give to people that we knew.
Right.
Like everyone we knew would take it, but it was never a public thing.
Right.
And I think it's great now that people get to kind of take these products and have them use it to benefit their life and their health journeys.
100%. I think it's like, no, I appreciate everything too that you said because it's like, that means a lot, dude.
Yeah.
But like, I think the reason why, so right now, kind of just give you guys a little bit of, just kind of overview what I'm a real estate agent now.
Right.
Like my main job, my full-time job is a real estate agent, but this is like my passion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think for anyone looking to become an entrepreneur, like just do their own thing, it's really important to understand that. I think we're talking about this the other day that you could absolutely get whatever you want to get, but there's 100% a sacrifice that needs to be made. Like freedom is earned. You have to earn that freedom, and you kind of have to like. There's this saying is like you kind of have to dig shit, like shovel shit for like X amount of years until you hit your goal.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this pretty much is. But even to backtrack this, I hate to get into like different kind of avenues, but what this really represents is something that I'm even more so passionate about versus fitness is like mindset.
Yeah.
And this whole thing of like mindset had changed the whole trajectory of like my life, right? Like how I look at things. When I was 24, like as like kind of being raised by Asian families, bro, like you're almost kind of like programmed to do a certain thing.
Right. Get good grades.
Right. Yeah. Go to school, get a good job, get something stable. Right. And I think you'll attest to this. I think all of us here attest to this. Like as a creative, that's not enough.
No. Yeah.
You're just not able to really be who you are if you kind of go through that route.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's funny because you do like say you hint at these things as you're a kid to your parents, like, oh, I want to do this, or you show them that you have a little creative passion, but then you get asked, how are you going to make money off of that? You know, how are you going to find a job with
Exactly.
that? So it almost gets put in the back burner because of that idea that it's not going to give me a stable job because that's what my parents tell me. You know,
100%.
But yeah, it sucks to think that it all stems from that, but if you look at it, our parents as kids of Asian parents, and we are first generation Americans, they come here because they want us to succeed. Their idea of success is a little different, obviously, because of the generation and where they came from. But their intentions are right. It's just that we've talked about the delivery isn't the right thing.
Yeah, and they know what they know.
Right.
You look if you just to give like flowers to your family. If you have Asian parents, you can relate to this. You always want to give their flowers because at the end of the day, it was hard for them to get out of where they're living and then come out here and start from the bottom to make a life.
Right.
So they look at it from those shoes and they understand how hard it was to, number one, get to the States, and then from there build something for their family for the future.
Yeah.
So that's where they're coming from.
Right.
And 100% that intention is pure. It's all good. And they don't understand though that the opportunities out here that we have growing up is different from what they had.
Right. They think it's the 9 to 5, the Monday through Friday, your days off are on the weekends, when now you can build the success and have days off on the weekdays. Right. You know, you can build your own success.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, for them, it's always been find a good job. Whereas why not, for us, it's why not build that job for us, you know?
Right.
Build that career.
Huge.
Yeah, and one thing I can say that I've gotten from that upbringing is just to grind. And like, even if it's not what you want to do, you do it, you know?
100%.
You do the dirty work, because success will come with it, you know, as long as you're working hard, and doing the best you can. It'll build good habits later on.
You'll always see opportunities when you're in the grind. You're gonna always see, there's always gonna be some sort of lesson that you can learn. And the thing is though, when it comes to like everything, is like you just have to be in the right state of mind to be able to see the opportunities and see the lessons. And that's the whole thing with like TPF is like, you know, the mindset of things and understanding like how to navigate the world and navigate your life and understand that the universe is working with you to allow you to get to your goals. And you know, the hardest part, dude, is like honestly is just staying in the right vibration, because this whole thing with the law of attraction, bro, like it's real shit, dude. It's 100% real. Because you attract. I mean, the law says you attract what you feel, right? It's not even the law of attraction. The real thing is the law of vibration. You have to be in a state of mind where your vibrations are right, and that's how you're going to be attracting the opportunities towards you. And that's the 10 years of creating this. Like this is the result of practicing those laws and staying in that vibe to be able to create something like this.
And when that opportunity does come, you have the courage to take a leap of faith and go for it, you know? It's not all, it's good to be comfortable, but progress, it doesn't come out of comfortability.
Never,
you know?
Never. It's always you always have to move in life towards something. Like this is the secret of life, is like we as humans are built to always want more. If you were to give somebody the keys to the castle, they'll enjoy it for like a week, and they're gonna be thinking like, how can I have more? And that's not a bad thing to want more, right? Ambition is fantastic, but then over ambition leads to fucking world conquest, and that's not what we're about. You know, that's not what I'm about. It's about just that progressive realization of a worthy goal, right? Where you're never staying still, but always just doing something to progress yourself. And I'll say the biggest lesson that I've had to go with recently for me, I have a fiance, I have 2 dogs, they're mixed in my family. It's not about me anymore. It's my goals have changed totally different. It's totally different now. Like my goals are bigger than me because it's for my family, my family's future. And that's what gets me going now at this point in my life. Because, you know, I've proven to myself that I could survive on my own. For me, right, and so now like I almost lost like my edge, so I had to reconnect with something that was different, that's bigger than me, to be able to stay with that fire. And this is that that gap of like not working with TPF like showed me that this is something that I need in my life to be able to be like fulfilled. Okay? And that's why we started. That's why we rebranded and we went hard on it this year.
And that's a big thing too, is being able to pivot. You know, 'cause what you do doesn't always end in with the result that you want, but being able to pivot and work around it, and it's like, okay, how do I kind of tweak things in order to get to the result that I'm looking for?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like it's never going to be a straight line when it comes to anything in life.
And back to your intentions now and building that family and doing these things because you have that future that you're trying to build with your family. What do you value? What are your values? Like I know that changes now, but what is your current value?
Man, I'll tell you this, like when I first, at 25, my goal was to get fucking filthy rich. Filthy rich, like just not have never ever have any worry about money. Now, like, cause you know, experiencing the idea of like knowing what it's like to have money, like it's cliche as fuck, but dude, it's not what everyone says it is, bro. Like, it's just not. It gives you that initial kind of dopamine rush, but at the end of the day, you just feel it's not enough.
A little empty.
Yeah, you feel empty. You just don't feel fulfilled.
Right.
So like now, my biggest thing, like what the vision that I see with TPF is being able to build something where other people could literally have opportunities from.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to have like a warehouse, employees, and create a lifestyle and create like lives and jobs for people.
Yeah.
I've never experienced that yet.
Yeah.
Thus far in my, like my business career.
Yeah. And it's cool to see the maturity that you talk about, how at 24, 25, it was a me mindset. Like, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to get filthy rich, to a couple months ago when I came and visited for the first time.
Yeah.
Seeing the calmness in you, and that dad movie that you talk about, where it's a cool maturity to see.
Yeah.
Because I was so used to the Jin of the 24, 25 when, man, this guy's got it figured out. Like, this guy, he's living on his own. He's building this business, and just seeing you grind and being your own person.
Yeah.
To where you're at now, where you're building a family and you're working towards that family while also having those same the principles that you built for yourself. The grind is still there.
Right.
The hunger is still there.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost seems more like I've proven it to myself. Now it's about other things bigger than me.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have to prove anything to people anymore. It's like I don't have to prove anything to myself anymore. I know I can do it.
Yeah.
And just there's a calmness that came with that. And as a person, like we go back to it. While you're in it, you don't notice those things. But as a person looking at you do notice those things. You notice the maturity, the calmness, all that.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And a lot of times people think that comes with age, but it also comes with experience.
Yeah.
And just trial and error, and knowing what you want, knowing where you're going in life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool to see. And those are little things that I've never really got to tell you, but I've noticed throughout the years I've known you, is like that, you building yourself and your life throughout the years, and just being able to see it, and like, you notice that I look up to you, so it's all those things I like to see, and like, okay, how do I kind of build myself to get to a point where I feel like I'm in the same mindset.
Right.
As it may not be the same goals, but I'd like to know what that calmness feels like,
Yeah.
So it's just really cool to see where your values are now, and where your goals, and where you're taking TPF.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course. I mean, and we know, like, building a business is not easy.
Mm-mm.
You'll have your trial and errors. You'll have your okay, this worked, this didn't work.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest roadblock that you've gone through?
With building TPF?
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot, bro. Where do I start?
Yeah. Well, let's break it down. Well, let's start from the beginning. Like, what was starting it back up when we had that conversation on the phone where you're like, I want to make TPF endurance focused, and like when you started that pivot of what it used to be
Right.
to now, what was that big roadblock that you had to kind of go through first?
I think, man, honestly, I think it was just authenticity and doing something that I know I'd be consistent with.
Right. Okay.
I think that was the main thing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I knew how much time, effort, and money it would take to restart this.
Right.
So I had to be in a state of mind where, first and foremost, my family would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be fine to be able to take care of our day-to-day bills, pay rent, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, refine that fire and that real genuine passion to like do something and connect to something that's not about like, it's not an end goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
something that's going to be something that I'll be working on it because I'm passionate about
Right.
it. And that was the main thing. I think when you find something that you're super passionate about, and you connect to something that isn't necessarily like monetary goals, that's when you know you're on the right track.
Right.
And,
yeah.
That's where I feel like I'm at right now with Team Physio Fit with the supplement line.
And have you ever dealt with any, like, you're second guessing yourself, your doubts towards where this company is? Like, have you ever, like, at any point were you feeling that way, and what kind of caused that you to feel that way?
In the past, 100% in my younger 20s. And I think it goes back to where I was at in the beginning of building Team Physio Fit. I was first and foremost trying to prove to myself that I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you operate from that mindset, you can accomplish it.
Yeah.
But it's very, very, very demanding of everything, of your energy. So how can you create something of meaning and of authenticity when you're coming from a state of just like depleted?
Yeah.
You can't. It's not real.
Right.
You know? So first and foremost, getting myself to a state of mind where I was comfortable in my own shoes. I could look at myself in the mirror. I'm not trying to prove my mom and dad wrong or anyone else wrong. I'm not trying to chase another guy that's like, you know, with a Lamborghini. Once I got past all that, like in my head, then I was good.
Yeah.
You know? So now like all the quote unquote failures or quote unquote things that aren't working with TPF at the moment in time, I give zero fucks.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a failure to me.
Yeah.
It's a pivot. You know, it's like, okay, this didn't work, I'll try something else. That's all it is. So my mindset on how I receive failure, quote unquote, it's non-existent at this point in my mind. Because I'm comfortable with who I am in my shoes.
Yeah.
At this point. I'm not doing this for anyone else. I'm doing this because I love it.
Yeah. And you get it you go and you're able to sleep at night knowing that way. Like, you're not going to bed thinking like, am I doing the right thing or those things. Right. It's super cool to see that.
Yeah.
What about for the expo? What was like the biggest roadblock there?
Man, so there's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to give out samples, number one.
Yeah.
I figured out that actually having like package samples was gonna cost us like pretty much the same amount of cost as to actually have a table at the expo, so that just wasn't feasible. Number two is like the other option was to actually like have shaker bottles, Dixie cups, and literally just powder it and pour it into cups. Then literally like 5 days before the expo, the Long Beach Health City Code called me and said, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna need a fucking sink.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a floor.
Yeah.
Like.
And little do we know, all the sink needed to be was dispenser.
Dude, a fucking Gatorade bottle. And then a fucking tarp that you just had to put on the floor, dude. Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, you know, it's 5 days before the expo, so I was just like, yeah, we're just not gonna do it then. But that was the biggest roadblock for sure. You know, and when I wasn't tripping though, bro. Yeah. Like it was what it was. So.
And I think regardless of having samples or not, we got the brand awareness out there, and it was a success overall. The connections we made. I mean, there were some big things that hopefully in the works we won't talk about it, but coming up would be super cool to see because those are huge steps for just the brand in general. It's like being able to work certain events and with certain people is like, dude, that's the goal, right? It's like being able to get it to more people, the most amount of people that we can.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree with that. And to your point about like, well, just kind of like bringing things back, dude, is like, if I was 24 and I had that expo, I'd be pissed because of the fact my goal would have been to try to sell a lot of profit, bro. At least break even. Yeah. But you know, my head now is like, it goes back to the whole mindset. Like the opportunities that came to us, I see it. Yeah. So 100% everything was worth it. Yeah. Right. So that's like, dude, it's great.
Yeah, and it's I mean, like you said earlier, you attract what you give out, and you know, say we had left maybe 10 minutes prior to when we thought we were gonna leave, we wouldn't have made the connection that we did because they had, you know, we had certain companies had come to us and like, hey, what are you guys about? We see you guys the past 2 days. Your energy is high. People are coming talking to us asking about TPF.
Right.
Compared to other companies who are the established ones. They know what they're getting from them, but they don't know of us yet.
No.
And it's cool to see because they get to learn about TPF on their own rather than what they see from other people. And it's cool to build that one-on-one connection with your customers before the word of mouth comes out or the social media stuff where, oh, have you tried this yet?
Yeah.
Whereas that stuff will come, but the connections you make with people personally, I think, is the most important thing.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
I mean, as we wrap up that expo, what is in store for TPF supplements? What do we got? What do we got planned for the near future?
So now I think working events is a must.
Yeah.
Because I love being in front of, I love seeing people and I love being able to be in front of people. I get like a lot of energy from that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that I really want to do at least maybe 4 times next year.
Right.
Work different events.
Yeah.
Partnerships that seeded when we actually met with them. I want to grow those partnerships, meet with the people that came and spoke with us and build that relationship with them, see how we can help each other out. And then we opened up a TikTok shop.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a good way to be able to have create relationship with affiliates and slowly build some income from there. Because at the end of the day, we're like 35K in the hole.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to generate some sort of income to turn this into a business, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a business.
It is, yeah.
It's a business.
Yeah. Business needs to make money.
Correct, right? And then lastly, I think, I don't know. I think that's everything we want to hang our hat on at this point.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
About it. So
yeah. I think it's been a good first year of the rebrand, of the pivot, and to think back on that phone call we had back in March where the Long Beach Expo wasn't even a thing. I mean, this wasn't even a plan back then. I didn't think I was gonna run the expo. You didn't even think you were gonna you would be a vendor at the expo.
No.
And to see where it's at now and all the little bricks that we've laid from then is just cool to see. Looking back on it now. At the time, I had no idea this is where it was going.
It's just an idea.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
On paper.
And then being able to use this stuff for my race, I wouldn't have hit my goal that I wanted to go to hit for that race without being able to supplement myself with TPF. So, this stuff works, man. I'm a firm believer on improving myself, my health, and just the overall benefits I get from not just the electrolytes, but the platinum joints, all the things that you'll see on the website.
Right.
They're all great stuff. So it's I stand by it 100%, and I hope that people can find some benefit out of it just as much as I have, you have, and people close to us have.
Yeah.
So it's super cool, man. But yeah. I think we can just leave it at that. We've got a lot more we can delve into, but for now, I think it's good that people kind of knew who you were. I wanted them to know who Jin is and what he stands by, what his values are, where he came from, because those are all things that have led to where TPF is currently, and I think it's super important for the audience to know you raw and unfiltered and what you've gone through, which we'll talk about more later on.
Yeah.
But just a little step into the water of what TPF supplements is.
Yeah.
So,
sweet.
Yeah, man. Thanks for talking. We're going to we'll be doing this a lot more often, but I think it was a good first episode.
I think so too, man.
All right,
It's
cool.
good.